Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rymark Dingal, taking the Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in Generalist, Section 2I. So today we're going to discuss about the issue in the art education. Before that, let me define first what is art. So art is a diverse range or product of human activities involving creative imagination to express technical proficiency, beauty, emotional power, or conceptual ideas. Next is what is education. So education, it is the process of facilitating learners or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, moral, beliefs, and habits. So now what is art education? Art education, it is a set of instructions on how to use the language of art. People understand the world and assign the meaning to its using art. Art is a specialty that defines society and exposes the various societies' differences from another. Every civilization that existed has expressed themselves through arts. So now, do you have now an idea about the art education? So let's forward in our topic, the issues in the art education. Art educators in the country face an uphill battle as they navigated the educational system and its need to prioritize its resources, often not in favor of the arts. However, there are other issues facing art education in the Philippines, some of which are much closer to the classroom. Several are discussed here. The first is the problem in artistic values. This issue discussed hereunder deals with the attitudes and mindset of the various participants in art education regarding the teaching of art in schools. They are problems or perspective which in turn affect policies which then affect practice. So the problem here is the communication is a certain emotions of ideas through a piece of art or the performance. So there are the four broads of categories in problem in artistic values. First is the teacher's issue. Majority of the Filipinos, with many of its practitioners, a victim of yung sinasabi nilang mag-teacher ka na lang. So that is one of the mentality of the Filipinos or the cultures which needs to vanish or wala na to sa to ang mga kinaiya. However, art educators in the country face a number of self-esteem issues expressed through statements like, I'm not talented enough to be a real artist, or they said, there's no money in art, so I teach in order to make a living or to make money. So that's it. That one, the mentality of the Filipinos, that is a big wrong. Some of the Filipinos hide their talent in arts. Furthermore, the biggest, most immediate issue when it comes to art educators is the lack of good training. Here in the Philippines, if you train 2 to 3 months, you are going to deployed in the field. Am I right? In that simple experience, the educational system put the teacher without enough knowledge or enough training in the art education. And now, based on my research, the Philippines has the low knowledge about the art education. So now that is the outcome. So as a future educator, what we're going to do? First is leave the mentality or our cultures about the art is useless. Art is not good. Art is waste of time. So let's vanish that mentalities. All we need to do is to raise a child, give a knowledge about the art education. In that sense, they grow and they become an artist someday. So the next is the art as a subject. You know that the art is a subject? No, because art is not also a drawing. It is not a kuris-kuris lang. Because art is something that is created with imaginations and skills, and that is beautiful or that expresses the important ideas or feeling. Art is not easy. It should be mastered or have enough ideas about the arts. So that's it. So the third is the student's discipline. This is another issue noted by many teachers is the lack of students' respect toward art materials, wastefulness, neglecting to store materials properly, and the lack of a general sense or orders and cleanliness, both while after working, are all source of great frustrations for art educators nationwide. Many of the students now, they neglect what is the art, what is the benefits of arts in our lives. Students are the vulnerable because the students are the future. What will happen if the art What will happen if the students did not know what is art? If that mentality is existed, maybe the art in the future will be vanished. The fourth is the art as a luxury. The popular public view on art in the country is that is the luxury. But many participants says that pangmayaman lang yan. We Filipinos, if makakita tayo ng isang artwork dyan sa kalye, so sinasabihan lang natin na hindi tayo hindi natin ma-afford kasi wala tayong budget or we have low income or only rich can afford. What we are going to do is to appreciate the artwork in the wall or in the particular places because art is not easy. Art is difficult to do. Art is considered the privilege of the elite, those who do not have to actually work for a living and can therefore devote the time, energy, money needed to participate in artistic endeavor. Art is among the lowest subject in terms of priority when it comes to issue like budget, time, resources, allocation, and etc. So now, I want you to find an art in your house. If you find an art, congratulations, you are rich or you are fortunate. That is the mentality of the Filipino. Next topic is what we call the materials, resources, and workspaces. Another problem is related to the physical requirements for teaching art and availability. While a teacher in mathematics might need little more than chalks to teach his or her subject, an art teacher requires quite a numbers of materials, many of which can be expensive and outside of school budget. First problem is the limited materials. Due to the lack of adequate supports, art materials are scarce. Art materials is nakatago lang sa kanilang classroom. Why? Because some educators, they limit their students to enjoy sa pagkuris-kuris. Some of the teachers known as tipid teachers because they provided or put something small. For some teachers is the students should provide their own art utensils or equipment. That is the one of the problem in our country, the educators. Because of the limited materials, so what will happen now? Our learners is an idea about the artwork. Next is the students did not know what its kind of materials or that utensils they use in the art. We see that utensils or that materials in the other classroom or the other schools. What we are going to do is, so now as a future educators, we should give the materials that they needed to learn. Okay? Next is the workspaces. The workspaces is related to the previous problem. Many of our educators is gumagawa lang sila ng art or gumagawa lang sila ng paint sa ilang classroom. However, that is not good. As an artist, as a students, the school should be provide a workspaces in their learners or the art classroom for them to learn. They can express their idea in that classroom or in that areas. Another example is the materials is for sculptures. So yung mga materials na yun is matalim. It needs a room that is safe for the learners, which it needs a storage that is a highly recommended or it is the safest place to maintain the safety of our students. Next is the management issues. Management issue related to the lack of students' respect for arts, materials, and spaces. There is also a severe lack of awareness as to how to manage and organize an art class in order to maximize learning and to ensure students' safety. This is very important during art activities that involve sharp objects like carving and sculptures. Teachers, art educators need to have an eye-to-eye contact to his or her learners because in a simple tapilok lamang, maybe her learner is in danger. All we need to do is to manage our students and to organize the utensils and materials they needed in art activities. So now, this is the end of our discussion. I hope you gain ideas about art education. I hope you listen. Goodbye!